Well, hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome in. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. As you can see, we're in different locales, which is normally the case each and every day. But I am in the showroom here in Montgomery at Stivers Ford, where Price sells cars. I don't know if that's a Holiday Inn Express or a Ritz-Carlton, but Barry is somewhere with Troy baseball in the state of Virginia, I believe.
Yes. This is a Marriott, I think, in Norfolk, Virginia, downtown, hard by the Elizabeth River, they tell me. I have never been to Norfolk before. The opening game of a 3-game baseball series between the number 18 Troy Trojans and the Old Dominion.
Hold on, Catamounts? That maybe.
Ever since John pulled a rabbit out of a hat and got Catamounts when I asked him about Western Carolina, that's his default guess now.
Yeah,
this is it. They are the Old Dominion Monarchs here in college baseball. So yeah, I'm here. And then after this, we're going to be going to Virginia Tech on Wednesday, and then we're going to be going to James Madison next week. So I am on the road like for a week and a half here with Troy.
I can see how you might not know what hotel you're in or what type or what brand. They probably all start looking the same.
We were all talking the other day on the ride over here. You know, John and I have had our little flourishing, highly successful enterprise been going on since August, right? July, something like that. This is show number 154. And I've done it. I tallied it up. I've done it from 9 different states, 13 different locales and everything already on this program. But it's great to be able to travel with the team and everything. If you've got some summer travel plans going on, or at least you're thinking about it, John, why not make those plans and drive in style? Why not?
Yeah.
Come on.
Sure. You're not whether you're driving to the highways and byways or driving out to the Montgomery Regional Airport, which I will be doing later today.
Hey, all right.
Lady, got to drop her off. She's heading up to D.C. today, as a matter of fact, on the direct nonstop flight. And yeah, you're right, here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. And Barry, we say it when we're here, drive into the lot, and it's amazing how they can fit the vehicles into the lot, because there's so many vehicles here for you to check out: cars, trucks, SUVs, construction fleets, you name it, they've got it here for you. And it's just unbelievable how many vehicles are on the ground. They're moving these vehicles because Price sells cars and trucks. And I was listening to I think it was Bruce Pearl doing a commercial for the F-150. And they were talking about how it's been America's best-selling truck for over 48 years. You hear us talk about almost 50 years. Well, that's almost 50. 48 years in a row. Just think about that, Barry. 48 years, no other truck manufacturer has been able to top the F-150, and they've got plenty of them for you to look at and check out here at Stivers.
Can you imagine 48 years ago, which was 1977? John and I were little squirts. The country was discoing and all that kind of stuff. And some manufacturer says, hey, we won it last year. Some truck manufacturer says, hey, we sold more trucks than anybody last year. What about this year?
Yeah.
Oh, this year it's the Ford F-150. Oh, well, we'll get them next year. And they've been saying it now for 48 years. Well, all right. Guys, we got to do it next year. Guys, can we do something about this? This has been 48 years now. We can't beat the F-150. What? You know, I'm surprised they still make trucks.
I'm with you as well.
Truck makers in the United States.
Every remaining 2024 F-150s at 2.9% APR for 72 months, hundreds for you to choose from. The F-150 Lightning package up to $15,000 off plus 0% APR. Great deals on the Ford Edge and Ford Escape. Of course, the Bronco coming in so many different trim levels, package levels. You can get one starting as low as $25,990. The Ford Explorer, which started the SUV craze back in the 80s. You get an all-wheel drive with leather as low as $39,990. The Expedition, if you want to load up the whole crowd, the family, everybody to the game, the lake, wherever you may be heading, the Expedition is perfect for that. And there's a new lineup here, Barry, that we really hadn't talked about. I went and took a look at it before I walked inside today. It's the Ford Mavericks. It's a new entry-level pickup truck. It is so cool looking. Starting as low as $23,990 and no payments for 90 days. Check out the Ford Maverick. It's a new lineup from Ford Motor Company, and Stivers is loaded up with them here in Montgomery for you to check out. And we'll say it all day. You can go to other dealerships. You can kick a tire, check it out. You're going to end up right back here at Stivers. And we get it. I know it's just that natural tendency.
Human nature.
I got to see for myself. I've got to see for myself. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. But they'll welcome you back here with the best deal and the vehicle that you really deep down want the most here at Stivers. And it's all about price selling cars. Now, I see we got a lot going on in the chat room, Barry, and I want people to jump the route. I'm glad to see we've got some NBA talk. Ty, we'll get to the Laker Warrior game, unless you want to talk about it now, but we'll get to the Laker Warrior game in the second hour. Looking forward to talking about that game, if that's any hint. And of course, Barry, there might be something special today. I can't confirm this, but when the Phantom releases his daily dog today, I think there could be something a little added, some added value to the Phantom's daily dog today. So that would certainly be something to stick around for later on. But I am enjoying the NBA talk. I did not see the Memphis-Miami game last night down in Miami, but I did. But I did watch a nice portion of the Golden State LA Laker game on TNT last night before I fell asleep.
Well, in case you're wondering about the Phantom's daily dog, it has been fostered by a lot of NBA talk first thing in the morning. Hey, Warriors, Lakers, Grizzlies, Heat. Hey, what about those Timberwolves and Nets? You're thinking, it must have been a good night for the Phantom. So we've got that. Of course, we don't need to forget that tomorrow starts the Final Four. And the coverage is going to be, of course, on CBS. Tomorrow, 5:09 in the evening, Florida versus Auburn. And then at 7:49, it always kills me, 7:49 on CBS, Houston versus Duke. National championship game between the two winners will take place on Monday at 7:50. Now, you may ask, why in the world do they have one game scheduled for tomorrow at 7:49 and the championship game at 7:50? What are they going to do in that extra minute? Why is there a minute difference? I can tell you this. The coverage of Florida-Auburn tomorrow afternoon on CBS, however well they do it, and you know the guys, Ian Eagle, Bill Raftery, Grant Hill are going to be on that. The coverage of Florida-Auburn on CBS, I'm just telling you, is going to have to go a long way to rival the coverage from the San Antonio La Quinta, because your boy, Philip Marshall, is cranking out the content.
You've noticed,
because Philip's old. He's old. Yeah. He's been old for a long time now. I think he was born old. But, man, a lot of people, when they get to that age, and we're not there yet, they try to deny their age. I'm not old. Yeah. Look at me. I can still cut a rug. No. Philip celebrates it. Everything Philip writes luxuriates in the fact that he's been around a long time. He knew Frank Orgel and Ken Hobby and Clayton Thomas, or
who used to go eat lunch together. Yeah,
that's right. Everything is around that. And he says the Final Four features a clash of coaching generations. Talking about, the older coaches versus the young bucks like Todd Golden. Yep. You're going to be sick to death. I'm already right now thinking, I've heard a million times now that Todd Golden, the Florida coach, used to be an assistant coach under Bruce Pearl.
Heard that this
about
morning.
5,000 things. So I don't know necessarily about quality, but volume,
no doubt.
Hats off to Philip Marshall. Goodness gracious.
Now,
He
Barry, of
has
course,
been
I'm one
a
of these
machine.
believers in quality over quantity. I'm just
Yes.
a big believer of that. So,
Yes.
I will say some of the fluff pieces don't do it for me. I like the more the nuts and bolts type stuff. But obviously, that room, that $79 room at the La Quinta, is coming with a free breakfast because he's energized, ready to go in the mornings, churning out the content. I'm still trying to figure out how he got stuck at the La Quinta. I mean, this is a big time event. You mentioned it, Barry, when Troy
I don't think it's
traveled.
the
I mean,
media hotel like he says it is. I don't
you
think
were
so.
going, the Trojans flew first class up
Oh,
there,
yeah.
but nice A220. They
Super
stayed in a
nice.
really nice hotel,
Super
great
nice.
bus service. I mean, La Quinta, there again, Jim Nance is not staying at the La Quinta.
And I got nothing against La Quinta. I probably have stayed at La Quinta before, but I'm telling you, it has the vibe of one of those hotels. I say hotels, motels, whatever, that has the little plastic letters on the front side
Yes.
that says cable TV, coffee, free coffee, that kind of stuff. One of those, the Magic
Don't go as
Fingers
far as,
bed or something like that.
and we're going back a long ways, but folks, there used to be hotels that advertised the fact the rooms had air conditioning.
Yes, yeah, AC, cable TV, and I'm thinking,
How about this one, Barry? Remember when HBO came out? All the hotels said, "Hey, free HBO!" Like
That's
that
right.
was a hook to get you in.
I'm thinking that's what Philip has got, probably of his own doing out there. But hey, whatever it takes to cover Auburn, he has shown that because, as you know, he has been there covering them for a long, long time.
Yes, he's probably stayed in quite a few La Quintas in his day. All right, so Barry, you mentioned the Final Four. I get it.
Yep.
It's a big tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. What was that start time? The first game, 5:09 or something?
5:09 tomorrow, and then 7:49. I just don't know how they're going to make the connection, how they're going to make the adjustment. Houston and Duke play tomorrow night at 7:49, and then the winner there has to play the next night at 7:50. How are they going to make that adjustment in the difference in start times? That's beyond.
Barry,
yes.
Is this already predetermined? Or do they wait to see who's in the Final Four to determine who gets to play the later game?
I really don't know. I don't think they know. There was some conversation earlier in the week. It was from Jason Caldwell yesterday, AuburnUndercover.com. He says he fully believes that since Auburn was the number one seed, the number one overall seed in the tournament, that they were able to determine where their first round and regional where their regional and Sweet 16 games took place. He said, I thought it was genius of Bruce to be able to pick Lexington and then Atlanta because Atlanta was a huge advantage. I'm thinking, and I love Jason. I would trust him, to the ends of the earth. But I'm thinking, is that really the case? Do you get to pick your spots where you go to? If so, then you probably have a little bit of leeway in determining, which game time.
Yeah, I don't know either for sure. I can't sit here and
I don't
100% tell you that's the case, but I have heard that if you are the overall number one seed, you do get. I don't know if you get to pick it. I mean, I guess you do. Hey, where would you like to go? Obviously, Lexington and Atlanta fit Auburn a lot better than going to some of these other far off locations,
Seattle,
like Cleveland and Newark. But maybe there again, Barry, if you're playing the early game tomorrow at 5:09, that gives you more time to rest, get ready for your next opponent, whatever it may be. We did that in the SEC tournament while they play the games and schedule them in the way that they do. So, okay, I just was thinking prime time. Do they want Duke in the prime time window for let's 5:45 out in California? Duke gets the bigger exposure. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm not sure at this point you really need all the exposure if you've made the Final Four. They know who you are.
If you go by who Vegas likes, the championship game should be, according to the odds, it should be Florida and Duke for the national championship, and it might be. Florida is a 2.5-point favorite over Auburn that I see, and it's been pretty firm at 2.5. Duke is favored by 5.5 over Houston. Again, Duke, it'll be a great matchup. Number one scoring team in the nation against the number one defensive team in the nation. 5.5 No.
Can I just, maybe this is too simplistic because I was thinking about this last night, but I didn't open my mouth because I thought, is this a stupid statement or not? I'm just going to think it. But now that you maybe can maybe solidify it, make it sound a little better. Here's the way I see that game. I can see Houston beating Duke.
Yeah.
And I've used this analogy in football before too. I can see Houston beating Duke, but it's going to be close. I can see Duke blowing out Houston. I don't see Houston blowing out Duke. And what I mean by that, Duke winning by double digits, 10 points or more. I can see Duke doing that. I cannot see Houston doing that. If Houston wins the game, they're winning this game by like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah. I don't see Duke winning it by a bunch, but I absolutely cannot see Houston winning it by a bunch. It's possible, I suppose, for Duke. Houston is all that defensively. I mean, they're by far the best defensive team I've seen this year. But should Auburn win it? Should Auburn, beat Florida, go to the national championship game? What'll Monday be like? I mean,
Barry, I'm gonna even tell you what it's gonna be like before Monday. When we get back from our first break, I'm picking up a bad vibe. I'm picking up some heads down, some shoulder shrugged, some shuffling of feet, some mumbling to themselves.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm picking up on when we get back, because I'm a little concerned, but I'm not concerned about what's going on out here. It's Stivers Ford in Montgomery. Now, I've already gotten some texts and some tweets. I was wondering, Barry, what if maybe Gurn can send me another link and I can walk around the showroom and show people what we got going? Because I've had somebody say, hey, man, what's that behind you? Barry, this is a Lincoln Aviator. We're on the Lincoln side of the showroom.
Right.
Beautiful vehicle. Lincoln luxury for less here at Stivers in Montgomery. Barry, I was checking this thing out earlier today. There's a white one right on the other side. I mean, this thing when it looks good in the showroom, you can just imagine what it looks like going up and down the highways and byways. This vehicle can be yours. Lincoln luxury for less, along with the great Ford lineup here at Stivers in Montgomery, where Price sells cars.
Good news. Robbie has checked in. John and I had been worried about him. Haven't heard from him since the Braves started 0-6 and Alabama lost in the Elite Eight, and Greenville's baseball team is having a difficult year. But Robbie is back on our River Region Straw Chat chat line. We've got a lot to get to today. John is at Stivers Ford Lincoln on the Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway in Montgomery. I am in Norfolk, Virginia, and we're underway with the Friday show. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. They're licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar. Full Budweiser flavor. A refreshing alcohol-free brew that tastes like the real thing. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Already live here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, Longshore and McKnight, where Price sells cars. Barry in Norfolk, Virginia with Troy Baseball. Couple of quick chats before I kind of make my statement that I kind of teased you with before the break.
Okay.
As far as I know, Trump has not put a tariff on John and Barry. Don Jr. was in Birmingham last night speaking to a big group of Republicans. So I think they like Alabama and certainly like John and Barry. Rumor is, Barry, we're on in the Situation Room up in D.C. They check us out every day, so we appreciate that.
You know, I do know this. Some of the people that were there, my buddy Chris Blackshear, the state representative from Phoenix City, sideline reporter on the Troy Sports Media Network. We got to get him on soon. He was there. John, he took a picture at the event with Roll Tide Willie.
No way.
I'm thinking, number one, who bought Roll Tide Willie that suit? And number two, what in the is it a? I mean, it's got to be one of those, you know, X amount of dollar plate dinners, right? A fundraiser or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
How in the heck is Roll Tide Willie even doing that? But yeah, that was yesterday, but I don't get it. Maybe a little bit more information. Theotis, we're fine, right? I mean, you know, I'm seeing John perfectly. John seeing me. Sure. Everybody's good. So if we're having something technical, let us know.
Check that internet up there in Huntsville. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Space and Rocket Center has got it out of whack today.
Robbie checks in for the first time in forever. Robbie says, how many people still have a chance to win the NCAA Men's Basketball Challenge?
Okay.
I'm 23rd right now. This is in the Longshore McKnight bracket.
Let me check. Wait a minute. Is Robbie 80862? Is that Robbie? Because I'm looking at it.
80862.
That's at the 23rd position. Robbie at the moment.
If that represents his birthday, I don't know. I think Robbie's a little bit younger.
Yeah, I think so.
Than that.
Robbie, since you ask, we'll update it for you. CR24AU is in the number one position currently.
Right.
He has picked Auburn to win it all to face Duke in the championship game.
Right.
Right behind him in the second position is Casino Greg, who has Houston and Florida. And I will say, Casino Greg on the chat line says, go Lucy this weekend. Yeah. Of course, that's my daughter, who is in 95th position out of 23 million people in the ESPN tournament bracket. We had her on earlier this week. She has the same two teams as Greg does. She has got Florida taking on Houston in the championship game on Monday. Not that it's a big deal because she's had to deal with this her whole life, Greg, but it's LUCIE, not LUCY. Just throwing it out there for you. Yeah. It's short for Lucille. That's her given name, her birth certificate name, but we call her Lucy. We just drop one of the L's, and we made it LUCIE. So no big deal because believe me, I was called my brother's name forever. I was Will Longshore till I was 23. It's amazing. I go, oh, it's my older brother. Oh yeah, Will. Good. Okay, buddy. I went, no. John. Oh yeah. Did you ever have that problem with your brothers?
Well, I have one brother. He's 9 years younger than I am. Whenever on the rare occasions when my mom would get mad at us, we're always well behaved. I know that's hard to believe, but she would kind of run through the thing. His name for a long time was Barry, Mike, the whole time. So it does happen.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yes,
it does. Okay, here's what I'm picking up, Barry. Head down, shuffling of feet, shoulders shrugged, mumbling to themselves. Bama fan does not like these types of setups, these types of weekend. Now, I get it. I understand it is the Iron Bowl on the diamond this weekend over at Auburn, I believe. Auburn and Alabama baseball, I guess. There is a scrimmage today in Tuscaloosa. The football team will be going through a scrimmage.
There is Big Cat Weekend going on over at Auburn this weekend.
Yeah.
That is a thing, yeah.
That really doesn't bug them. They make fun of that type stuff. There'll be stuff on Tighter Insider about pin the tail on the donkey.
See, but it's a new look. Yeah, right. Okay.
Stuff like that. Here's what's got them.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. There's another program out there, albeit Auburn, that's getting all this national run. All these guys are being interviewed. It's all about the Final Four. That's all we're hearing. And they don't like that. They want it to be them. And when it's not them, they don't want it to be you know who.
I don't feel terrible for them. I don't feel. I know Auburn fans who say now they know what it's like. Wait a minute. It's late in the postseason. Championship games going on. And Alabama fans don't like it that Auburn's playing for one and Alabama's sitting on the sidelines. Cry us a river over here. Yeah. Feel bad for you. Really. I mean, my heart aches.
I'm picking up on that.
Yeah.
There again, I don't see everybody. I'm just telling you about some people, some Bama people I've experienced in the last, I don't know, 2 to 3 days.
Right. Yeah.
So they're not looking forward to tomorrow. They're not looking forward to it. They might not even watch it unless, ding, ooh, the Aubs are down big.
Yeah.
Start watching it.
Yeah. It's like one of those home guard alerts they used to have in World War II where they, flash the lights in the belfry or whatever. And hey, look at the bat signal will go out.
Yeah.
They are playing a series.
I can tell you if that's the case, Barry, I can just go ahead and tell you, I will get multiple dings. Hey man, you out in your driveway? This is classic.
And John's like, yeah, hey honey, bring me another Bud Light. Hey, this is going down to the wire, or not. So there is that. Yeah, I know it's bound to be difficult. There are a lot of people. Casino Greg has been good about pumping up the Alabama baseball team, which is 26-4, number 8 in the country, as they venture down to the Iron Bowl on the Diamond tonight for 3 games at Auburn. Alabama's number 8, Auburn's number 17. Alabama 6-3 in the SEC. Auburn's 4-5. Yeah, but you know as well as I do, Alabama could win all 3 of those games 15-0, and they're still going to be like, "Can you get Bruce off of my TV screen? I'm sick to death of that Chad Maker Bacala guy. Can you get him off my screen?" That's what's going to be irritating.
Yeah, that's not what they want to see. And Barry, if things don't go well in the baseball series this weekend, if they drop 2 or 3 or get swept, and then like an injury in the scrimmage today. I mean, I don't want to be all doom and gloom here, but it could. So they're a little edgy, and there again, there could be some relief. They could exhale tomorrow and go, man, that was close. Sure, I'm glad those Gators were able to deliver tonight. But that's what I'm sensing. And then if they go into Monday and 2 more days of hype, build up, recognition, going to be tough. I've seen it before. Doesn't happen very often. It's like a solar eclipse. It doesn't happen every day.
Today is also the day. 6:15 tonight. The responsibility rests upon the shoulders of Spencer Schwellenbach. Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound for the Atlanta Braves tonight against the Miami Marlins, to finally break the stretch where the Braves have been the losingest team in Major League Baseball to this point.
Yeah, I'm trying not to harp on that, Barry. I mean, we know it. It's like that, it's kind of like that wart. You just don't look at it. It'll eventually put some compound W on it. It'll fade away. But I do find it interesting that we finally hear from Robbie today, and all he wants to know about is where he stands in the contest. I mean, Robbie, we want to know your thoughts about the Braves. What was the other thing we wanted to know about? The basketball.
Alabama.
Yeah. And that's all we get is contest ranking. No. And I think the Braves are going to pull off a win sometime. I think the Marlins is just what they need.
Yeah. John Longshore says the Braves will not finish 0-162 this year.
Don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. Well, we've got a lot to get to today. Coming up in exactly an hour on the live show, John, we do have Ralph Michaels from Wagertalk in the Goldsheet.
Correct. He will join us at the bottom of hour number 2. Ralph Michaels from Wagertalk in the Goldsheet. He'll break down this Final Four, which is, of course, going to start tomorrow in San Antonio. Heck, you never know. With the NBA kind of heating up, we might talk a little bit about that. And, hey, UFL, I believe the Stallions are playing tonight.
I know that the Battlehawks played the Roughnecks last night in front of the grounds crew, basically. My buddy Joel Klatt was doing that game. When we come back, the new look Big Cat for Auburn football. And what is the deal with TJ Finley? All that's still to come. Ooh. It's, again, in association with Yellowhammer News, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
Okay, welcome back in. About 27 minutes to the top of the hour. Teasing before we went to the break, I did see something, Barry. You mentioned TJ Finley. It's hard to keep up with old TJ. He's played in a lot of different places in his collegiate career. Now, I think I saw something earlier today. This alleged incident might have been fabricated.
Here's the deal. Of course, TJ Finley is still a collegiate quarterback. He has attended college, or he has been enrolled in college at LSU, Auburn, Texas State, Western Kentucky, and now he's at Tulane. 5 schools. And I don't know that he's ever been in big trouble before. I do remember one time Auburn University police engaged in a low-speed chase with him in his moped. Remember weaving through cars that were parked over there by the Eagles Nest one time?
Oh,
given
yeah.
that it was a moped or a Vespa or something like that, and given the fact that TJ is 6'7", 250 pounds, that just was kind of a comical visualization in our heads, and John and I riffed on it just a little bit. Why did they just follow him around? Why is he weird? Was he thinking he was going to get away?
Who do you think he was? OJ? I mean, come on.
250 pounds on a Vespa, and he's gonna. And the cops are just okay. Here, advise turning left behind a F-150 pickup truck.
Now, were these Auburn police or were these UPs following?
These were UPs. Yeah, these were Auburn
yeah.
University police rather than Auburn City police.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen him get into trouble. All 5 different schools. But he was arrested the other day and charged with vehicle theft, car theft.
Oh, whoa!
And he's got agents, that have helped him find, landing spots for him, and that help him, when he needs it. His agents, his attorneys, are Scott Stansbury and David Corsell. Evidently, and I'm going to go off on this, and if I hurt anybody, I feel badly for it. I have a Facebook account. John's daughters have informed him that he has a Facebook account.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't know why anybody buys anything off of Facebook Marketplace. TJ went on Facebook Marketplace, evidently, and this is according to his attorneys, and bought a pickup truck.
Yep.
Who buys a car on Facebook or a vehicle on Facebook? Who goes on Facebook and says, hey, pick up. Anyway, he purchased a used pickup truck on Facebook Marketplace. He went and got it from a guy who presented himself as John Spillway, representing Mountain Adventures, LLC. Spillway presented TJ with both a bill of sale and registration, giving TJ every reason to believe the purchase was legitimate. Within 3 days of the purchase, Tulane police informed TJ that the truck had been reported stolen.
Ooh.
I don't, and so that's basically what it is. He bought a truck on Facebook Marketplace from some shyster. 2 things about it. I can imagine that happens all the time. Unlike eBay or, some of the other places, Facebook, you don't have to have any verification that you're anybody. Number one, you go, you buy it, you give somebody your money, you go to an undisclosed location. Now, TJ is 6'7", 250. Look, if you've got daughters, don't let your daughter go to a remote location with a lot of money for somebody, I don't care who it is, and expect to just go to this remote location with that person, give them a lot of money, and just drive back home. Don't let her do that.
Nah,
Number 3, if you're gonna buy a pickup truck, come on, TJ. I know you watch. From your time at Auburn, you've watched us before. You've heard John talk about it. You need a used pickup truck. Stivers for it, TJ. Come on, man. So he's evidently a victim of circumstance, but TJ's what, 25 now, 26? Ought to know better, right? Ought to know better. Again, don't get me started on Facebook Marketplace, because people get robbed there, people get assaulted there, people get chiseled there. I'm not a big fan of Facebook Marketplace unless
I don't think
you can have,
I think that's the first. I don't think I wasn't aware of that. There again,
I don't know
a lot about Facebook. I know a little bit about it, I guess, but I didn't even know you could buy and sell on that. So I would advise against that. If you need a vehicle, come right here to Stivers Ford in Montgomery, whether it's new or pre-owned. They've got what you're looking for here. Spring into savings is what we like to call it here at Stivers in Montgomery on the Eastern Boulevard, where it meets the Troy Highway. So TJ Finley getting a little news, but I'm sure that little dust up will get cleared up without a problem.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
The other thing about and TJ, people still get goose pimples about talking about TJ Finley because he saved Bo Nix's bacon in the Georgia State game.
Oh yeah,
and Auburn should have lost that game. He had the 5-mile-an-hour pursuit on campus with the AUPD. And he was associated with Auburn, so people still fixate. If you're a big, tall Auburn quarterback, they will fixate on you. But
I think there's other things besides being tall and Auburn quarterback.
Yeah, dressing in a different, creative way, things like that.
180, something with that is an attachment.
Yeah. JD said, "You can buy the laptop off of Facebook Marketplace." I don't think so. But
that's a great one, JD. That's why you're a 2-time caller of the year. I wish I'd have thought about that. Was Facebook around when Cam bought the laptop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heck.
All right. Of course, he got kicked out of school too, JD. But some people say that didn't actually happen.
Not that it matters. I mean, he was not. It was maybe one of those things with Urban where he said, you can go wherever you want, we'll help you, but you got to get on up out of here. But he did not get kicked out of school, for what that's worth. But also, we talked about this yesterday with Jason Caldwell. This weekend is Big Cat Weekend. Starts tomorrow on the Auburn campus. It's Auburn's biggest recruiting event. It's a different weekend than what it usually is, and a different part of the recruiting calendar. The recruiting calendar is all different than the way it used to be, and it looks a lot different, but the basics are still the same. Big Cat Weekend this weekend. You've got a lot of high-profile recruits that are just coming. It's not an official recruiting visit. They're just coming, John, still, like they always have at Big Cat, just to hang out, have a good time.
So that's what I find interesting. It's not an official recruiting visit. So these guys have got to get to Auburn on their own nickel, find a place to stay, find somewhere to eat, all on their own.
Well, they'll help you find a place to stay, and they'll recommend places to eat, and they will feed you a little bit. They've had, I think, watermelon eating contests before, pie eating contests. That's what I'm wondering about.
Is it warm enough to go out to Chihuahua State Park? Wasn't that a big thing they used
they'd go out to Chihuahua. They'd go to the water park right across from Chihuahua, just on the other side of I-85. They go to the water park.
They could take them up to LaGrange. Isn't there an indoor water park in LaGrange? They could take them up there.
I don't know, something like that. But there's a lot of them coming, a lot. So, I mean, it would be a major enterprise. But I don't know. See, that's the thing. Jason was telling us, it's a different part of the calendar. It's a different weekend. It's going to look different. I'm enough of I'm always trying to embrace change and new things and trying different things and learn new things and all that. But there's some things I don't want to change. I don't want Big Cat Weekend to change. I want them to still, pin the tail on the donkey, do the little relay race with the teaspoons, with the egg in it, and you're trying to, that kind of stuff. Please tell me Big Cat Weekend isn't changing. Do they still gather at Toomer's Corner with the guy? Well, I know they can't do that because that's against the rules. You cannot publicly announce who is actually at officially. Auburn can't announce that.
Yeah, that
I don't want Big Cat Weekend to change. I like it just the way it is.
Well, there again, I need to get some confirmation here, Barry. Look, I don't know if I was the one that originated it. I'll take credit for it if it is the case. I just made some little snide comment about needles in the haystack, pony rides, pin the tail on the donkey, dizzy bat races.
I just visualized a day where that big offensive guard, the transfer, the last name was Muskrat. Remember? I can't think of his first name because that last name kind of blows everything up. All of a sudden, somebody calls out. I think his first name is Jaden.
Jaden Muskrat. Sam? What did Muskrat?
No, that was Muskrat Law. Yeah. Do it a jitterbug. To somebody to say, Red Rover, Jaden Muskrat, come over. And they're trying to hold hands so Jaden Muskrat can't break the bond.
Well, something must be going on. that leaves an impression because Big Cat has been successful for all football recruiting.
Well, it also has been very successful, quite frankly, and I love Rodney Orr like a brother. It's got to be helpful for his forum activity over there at TigerInsider.com.
And, Barry, back in the day,
Potato sack race is a good one. Potato sack race, yeah. I like that one, too. Good one, JD.
And I thought it was very unfair years ago, and I don't know, I guess it's not appropriate anymore in the era of NIL, but somebody out there thought they'd be cute and, post a picture of an ATM machine and say, hey, look, what's in the players lounge here, or the recruit lounge here at Auburn. Go figure. But that just doesn't even leave a mark anymore in the era of NIL.
Again, somebody just texted me about the games they may play. No, anything with the word smear in it, we're not talking about that anymore. You can't do that anymore.
Marco Polo.
You can't play that game. Yeah. Pie eating contest, stuff like that. But there is activity. Sedarian Morgan, the 5-star from Alexander City, Jaden O'Neal, a 4-star quarterback who is an Oklahoma commit. I'm telling you, if Venables loses another multi-star quarterback to Auburn, they are not going to be happy. It is going to be a big deal. Auburn Undercover has a full recruiting visitor list. I mean, it may be a little bit different from the Auburn list, but these are all, again, not transfer guys. These are all high school recruits, which have been lately severely under-recruited because everybody's after portal guys. So it's in a sense, it's a bigger deal. You want to make sure a bigger deal for the high school guys, because they're not getting as many offers as they used to get because everybody's spending their scholarships on transfer guys. So they've got to come up. They've got to have freshly shined apples, and they've got to schmooze the coaches a little bit more than it used to be when the coaches were falling all over them. So this is still a very big deal for Auburn. I just want to know what all they're doing. When I was a little boy, many years ago, we played tag at birthday parties. We played the little party games and everything. Nowadays, kids are playing NCAA 2K. They're having a big World of Warcraft with a big, huge screen that their mama and daddy got them so everybody can play and all. That has evolved in a way that I don't like. Please tell me that Big Cat stays the same. That was America.
I'm sure somebody out there in the social media world could probably get their hands on this. I got to think there's some correspondence that is sent out to these recruits. It's not like word of mouth and you just show up. Hey, I'm here. So I think there's probably some type of, formal, I don't want to say invitation, but
maybe so,
invite.
Though. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. They don't just show up. You're right.
With an itinerary of what is scheduled for Big Cat Weekend.
You got to think so.
It would be really cool if somebody could get us a copy of the itinerary just so, and I don't think it would be privileged, secret information.
If it gets out, it gets out,
Yeah, are other schools going to go, look at these Auburn guys, pin the tail on the donkey? Why didn't we think of that?
Yeah, they're okay, they got that. Let's say, all right, they got. I
just would like to know what during Big Cat, and maybe on our chat room, and I think I've already seen some of it coming through. We could have maybe some suggestions or ideas from our viewers and listeners of what goes on at Big Cat Weekend.
At the very least, we've got so many of you viewers and listeners and subscribers and stuff that are on social media. My Twitter account, my X account is just simple. It's at Barry McKnight. If you run into any of those prospective student athletes and they got tweets out like BCW is lit, fire emoji, 100, fire emoji. Dude, we played just the best game ever of Duck, Duck, Goose. Forward those to me. If you see any of those, I don't want anybody, and believe me, I know there are some who would absolutely obsess and are picking through Twitter going, oh, I wonder what they're doing now. Man, my boy Fred just won the pie eating contest by 1.5 pints over this wide receiver, and we're having a great time at BCW. Let me know. I want to know. Yeah, dodgeball. Why not dodgeball?
Yeah. Well, somebody can get hurt. You can blow a knee out. Somebody gets a cheap shot to the face.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is you got guys like Longshore. He's when he's throwing the ball, and John's got a good arm. Ask all the scouts at Capital City Combine back at Crampton Bowl that year. John's aiming for 2 places: the face and the groin.
No doubt.
So yeah, people do get hurt. John's like, oh, I hear people get hurt playing. It's because of people like him.
Yeah.
You're sitting there in a field position about to throw up because he got you below the waistband of your Hanes. That ain't cool.
For you deer hunters out there, it's called a neck shot. Same thing in dodgeball. You're going for the groin or the facial area. It has the most impact, the most stopping power.
All right.
Now, Chris,
now my eyes are watering. Thanks a bunch.
Chris, you're getting your Auburn recruiting weekends mixed up.
Yeah.
Cooper and Looper, that was Tiger Trek.
They took that away. They took Tiger Trek away. I've never been to one. I've never been to a Tiger Trek. John has. John got the chest bump and the dap from Trooper Taylor out there right over by the Renaissance, right downtown.
Right there in the lobby. Yeah, they're pulling up. Yeah, I get the dap, got the the bro hug from, I don't know if it was Looper or Trooper. It was one of the two.
A lot of people don't recognize the difference, but they're 2 different guys. But they took that away from us. They took away the big, humongous stretch limousines from visiting high schools. I get it. I honestly do. Don't take Big Cat away from us, because that just harkens back to a day back in the olden days when you would drink lemonade at the fraternity mixer, and you would they would give you these little cupcakes, and you'd place the saucer on your knee while you're talking about what you're hoping to study.
Yep.
Those days are gone, but we do have little small vestiges of it in things like Big Cat. Couldn't you see Sedarian Morgan sitting there in the Auburn football complex with a couple of chocolate chip cookies and a little Dixie cup or red Solo cup with orangeade in it or something like that, talking about what he hopes to major in if he were to come to Auburn?
Well, Bill and Chris have come up with 2 really good activities that they think might be taking place.
He doesn't need any help, fellas. Bill from Baltimore says, do they get a bus tour to get them acclimated to bus rides? Chris the Bammer says, smoothies for everyone. We got to take a break. I'm
if you're new to the program, smoothies was about a 6-month topic. Probably should have only about 6 minutes, but we drug it out for 6 months due to the fact that, beloved Philip Marshall wrote about it not once, but twice.
Complaining about it, that there are limits to smoothies. You can't just go down there and chug like 6 smoothies in a row. And Philip said, if you're going to be a big-time program, act like it. And he channeled that into the way Auburn handles their smoothie issue, evidently.
And then they bust back from a game in Columbia, South Carolina. No, not the baseball team. Gus Malzahn's football team.
Well, the baseball team actually bust back from an NCAA Super Regional in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That they won. They won the Super Regional. That was a year in 2019 when they went to the College World Series and they had to bust back. Anyway, it is 6 minutes until the hour. John is at Stivers Ford Lincoln, Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. I am in Norfolk, Virginia, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Here we are at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Our friend, everybody's friend, Mary Ann is with us. Mary Ann, April is a special month, even more special at Marguerite's.
Definitely. Okay, so it's the first of the month, Barry. What's that birthstone?
It's a diamond, right?
Yes. Winner. It's easy to remember because with April comes baseball season, baseball diamond. We've got diamond month here at Marguerite's, and it is a great time. We are having diamond month to really emphasize all the great diamonds we have in stock. We're doing crazy specials on natural as well as lab created diamonds with solitaire specials, starting out at, this is crazy to believe, $500 for a lab created diamond solitaire. That's insane. Like a 1 carat inner ring. We have diamond studs, diamond tennis necklaces, tennis bracelets. Everything with our diamonds are going to be unmatched, unparalleled prices. And loose stones, again, maybe because it is baseball season and you're watching all of those games that you need to give a little extra something, or that girlfriend that you've been dating for a while needs to get an engagement ring. Well, now is definitely the time to do it because our loose diamonds are on special.
Yeah, if you are thinking about an engagement, here's a pro tip. That may be Marianne's favorite thing to do at Marguerite's, is to help the guys make sure their odds are good with a beautiful diamond for that loved one that they're going to pop the question to, right?
Most definitely. It's great to help. We love helping you. The hardest thing you have to do is walk through the door. Next thing, I mean, honestly, you just say, I need to get engaged. Or between the two of us or the rest of these listeners, I can tell when a guy walks through. They kind of just have that look and they're just walking slow and looking around. And I'm like, need an engagement ring? And they just shake their head. I take it from there. Just get some ideas. White gold, yellow gold, diamonds. We have them. Guys, it's not hard. Honestly, just walk through the door. We can help you.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all. They have people who would love to help, especially in Diamond Month in April in Marguerite. Yes. Marianne, as always, it's so great to talk with you. What are the hours of operation?
Sure. We're open 7 days a week in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center, 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Pepper Tree Center, next to Chappie's Deli, 8163 Vaughn Road in Montgomery. Thanks very much, Marianne. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too.
Okay, back at it here, getting close to the top of the hour. Hour number 2, about to start rolling in. I'm at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Where, Barry, I'm telling you, spring into savings here at Stivers with every remaining new 2024 F-150 at 2.9% APR for 72 months.
Wow.
F-150 Lightning Edition, up to $15,000 off, plus 0% APR. You can get the Ford Edge SE up to 40% off, as low as $23,995, and the Ford Escape starting at just $21,990 and no payment for 90 days. Just a few of the great deals going on here at Stivers in Montgomery. I'm in the showroom. This Ford Aviator is right behind me, a beautiful jet black Ford Lincoln Aviator, and a Lincoln Nautilus is right behind this vehicle. You got to come see for yourself. Beautiful Lincoln luxury for less, and you'll be amazed at just how inexpensive a Lincoln vehicle is here at Stivers. Lincoln luxury for less. Got a great lineup for you to check out.
Now, we mentioned Big Cat for Auburn. They've got scrimmages and all that kind of stuff. Alabama, their football scrimmage number 2 this afternoon. An afternoon scrimmage? You know what that tells me? That tells me it'll be in Bryant-Denny Stadium. And it also tells me one of the reasons why it's the afternoon is they have got a ton of recruits in this weekend, and they want to get them in and kind of give them the Bryant-Denny Stadium tour and experience and all of that. What to expect from the Alabama scrimmage?
Yeah, I
couldn't tell you. I couldn't give you the first clue.
I think you're going to see, are you going to hear reports similar to what we heard from the last scrimmage? Here's the difference I think you'll find out about. Ty Simpson had another great scrimmage, but boy, those two guys behind him, they really ramped it up.
Making
really good scrimmage.
Making a positive impression
Correct.
upon everybody.
Couple of wide receivers you might not have heard as much about. We'll get a little bit more recognition, a little bit more hype, if you will. That's the main takeaways you're going to hear. Then you'll hear about a couple of plays that were really big, maybe an interception or a pick six or a big hit. Field goal kicker, was 4 out of 5. His longest was from 60. That's the type of stuff you're going to hear.
Now, how much of that stuff actually makes an impression or an impact on the coaching staff? Probably a lot. Usually, and again, I haven't been to any of the practices or scrimmages or anything like that. Usually, even back in the day when the A-Day game was the be-all, end-all, and it is not anymore.
Nope.
Scrimmage number 2 was probably the most important scrimmage, right? The A-Day is usually, like C.J. Duncan was telling us on Wednesday, that's mostly for show. You put it on TV so the fans can get geeked up about it, but you're not, showing anything crazy that other people can get tape on and all that kind of stuff. So the actual last game, the A-Day game, number 1 for both Auburn and Alabama, it isn't going to be a real game. It's going to be just kind of a fun event. If there's going to be movement in the 2 deep or in the pecking order in spring, it'll be as a result of this scrimmage. This is the one, in other words. It's not the be-all, end-all. Your 2 deep after this scrimmage isn't necessarily going to be your 2 deep heading into the Florida State game, but it is the most important one that they'll have, and it's this afternoon.
Course, it's the position that most people pay attention to, but you've got other position battles going on as well.
Yeah.
But with this one particularly, we don't know who the starter is. Man, this is a 3-horse race. Yeah, I tell you, it's going to be a battle throughout the summer and throughout preseason camp. And, man, we might not know till we head to Tallahassee. That's what you're going to hear.
We'll make those decisions on game week. Maybe the case. Maybe so. Big scrimmage coming up next Saturday in Troy. It's the T-Day scrimmage. And, again, it's not going to be the big mover and shaker for Jared Parker. The depth is a lot better than it was last year in his first scrimmage as the Troy head coach. We'll get Jared Parker on with us coming up on Wednesday to kind of get everybody up to date, at least with the impressions of what's going on with the Trojans and everything. Spring is just different, John, than it used to be. You remember, I didn't play high school football, but I played football up until high school. Played other sports and everything, but John did. Spring was the worst. Spring was the pits. But and largely because it's hot and the grass is mown and you'd rather be out there, goofing around with your buddies on a good weather day and all that. Spring was the time when you separated the men from the boys, right? You had the bull in the ring. You had the repetitions over and over and over again. To see who loved football, who loved hitting somebody, who didn't mind getting hit, and who was going to. Coach Bryant, Coach Dye used to say this. Remember, he was talking about Wayne Hall. A lot of people used to talk about Wayne Hall back in the day. He was a longtime coordinator. Well, he coached Wayne Hall when Coach Hall was at Alabama, and Coach Dye was an assistant in Alabama. He said, we found out about Wayne Hall that you could not make him quit. If you practiced him for 5 straight hours, he'd be out there 5 straight hours, And, of course, the famous, book about the Junction Boys from Jim Dent about Brian when he was at Texas. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody comes close to doing that anymore. So the role of spring has changed from what it used to be.
My feeling was, Barry, if you could make it through spring practice, you were in pretty good shape because there was nothing fun about it. And then, of course, when preseason camp started, it was always the first Monday in August. Whenever the first Monday rolled around on the calendar, that's when preseason camp started. And we all know August in Montgomery, in Auburn, and Tuscaloosa is extremely hot and humid, particularly when you're doing it twice a day. And if you could just make it through that couple of weeks in preseason, the rest of the season was nothing.
Right. Yeah.
It was a cakewalk after that. Just not as physical, more just, the middle side of it, keeping yourself healthy, loose, and all that type of stuff. But the real physical hitting and stuff like that you were done with that. So yeah, there was nothing fun. There weren't a lot of, let's say, light practices in the spring. During the season, you might have a light practice. That didn't happen in the spring.
Kids back in the day, you used to have 2 practices a day in spring. You used to have 2 practices a day in fall, sometimes 3 in spring. It is not like that anymore. A part of it is because the NCAA cracked down on it. They put limits. You can't have 2 a days anymore. Your first 3 days cannot be in full pads with full contact and all that kind of stuff. Part of it is because nowadays, if spring is too hard, guys will transfer.
Yep.
Like right then, man, I'm going to go someplace where I don't have to work so hard in spring. Because it isn't fun. You ain't got anybody cheering you whenever you win a session of bull in the ring. You just got to get back in there next time the turn comes in. The harder it is, the more people will quit and transfer. I say quit.
You're
the
right.
more people will just transfer out of there, and you can't. It's a different dynamic these days.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, we saw that when Nick Saban stepped down. I mean, they weren't playing music at practice when Saban was up there, and maybe some of the other activities that go on. I mean, he was old school, like it hard-nosed.
Yeah.
I get it. It changed, not to his liking. I think it's happened with a lot of these basketball coaches as well that we've seen step down. So it is totally different, and maybe it's a younger game. I don't know. I don't particularly like it, and I certainly think this NIL business is way out of hand. I know a lot of coaches believe that. Kirby Smart had some comments about it earlier this week.
Yep.
Hopefully they can get it reeled in, because if they don't, I do not see this ending very, very well. Ice cream trucks. I do think ice cream trucks showed up in Tuscaloosa. Maybe it was soft serve, because they looked a little soft against Vandy in Oklahoma.
I see what you did there.
So hopefully they will eliminate the ice cream. If I've been out there practicing hot and sweaty, I don't think I want ice cream. Maybe
no, it's all that.
Maybe that was something they did in Seattle. I'm not.
Maybe you didn't have nuts, because the fans went nuts when they did lose to Vanderbilt. But before we go any further, I'm checking our schedule for today, our program schedule. We're fixing to get to Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland topic wheel in a moment. Look,
I'm just telling you. For you today, Chris. A little early today.
I'm just telling you, stop texting me, and I'm hearing John getting dings as well. Scheduled is the Phantoms Daily Dog coming up at the bottom of the hour, okay? Stop asking me about it. Hey, is it true that the Phantom – no, that's a tease. We don't want to we don't want to get everything all at once.
Correct.
We do have to time things out for a 2-hour program. So there's a lot of people excited about the Phantoms Daily Dog because they kind of suspect something about that one. We'll recap his Daily Dog from yesterday at the bottom of the hour, and the Phantom will give you one that you can look forward to heading into the weekend as well. So that's still coming.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Might be there again something unique about the Phantom's dog.
UFO?
Today. We'll see.
Could be anything.
We'll see
yes.
how that plays out.
Yep.
But
so
the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, because Ralph Michaels is going to be on in the latter part of this hour of the program from Wagertalk and the Goldsheet. Of course, you mentioned the Phantom's Daily Dog coming up in a couple of minutes as well.
So,
but
let's see if we can get the topic wheel loaded up. We got a few minutes to hit a few from the Gurn Jr. Topic wheel, brought to you by Victoryland 777, where, hey, this weekend is going to be a big weekend at Victoryland. Always is.
You better believe it is. Yeah, Victoryland, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. You can be a winner, too, at Victoryland. And they, of course, bring you the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. You can see the logo there right in the middle. That looked like one of those things, Barry. Remember when you had a 45 record? You had to put that little thing in there so it would fit on the turntable?
That's right. Yeah. The little yellow thing with the swirls. Yeah. You guys
kids today have no idea what we're talking about. 45s.
All right. Let's
spin
it. Here we go.
Let's look at those topics. Man, we're loaded up today,
Man, I got
Chris.
7 of them today.
Man.
A lot of them on the NBA, by the way.
Ooh, 1.5 billion, which is more than 180,000. I do know that.
I knew it. I knew it. There was no doubt that we were going to get to a large number and John not bring up 180,000.
Man, 1.5 billion PGA Tour. What's the deal here? Huh. PGA wants the premier circuit. Oh, yeah. The Saudis look like they're involved here. What's the story?
The PGA Tour has rejected a $1.5 billion investment offer from the Public Investment Fund in exchange for the PGA Tour cutting a little leniency for the Live Tour to continue. This is the PIF is the Saudis, I believe. It's a $1.5 billion investment proposal from Live Golf. And there's a lot of different factors. President Trump evidently had gotten involved. Live Golf is, proposing $1.5 million in investment. Trump tried to speed up a deal. Last week, the Saudis made a formal offer. PGA turned it down flat. Don't forget,
I'm glad
the
to hear
Masters
that.
is this week, is April 10th. It's next week. About a little bit less than a week from now. They really wanted to. It sounds like a power play from the PGA Tour saying, we'll
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys go do your own thing. And I know the Saudi money is hard to beat. I get it. But I mentioned watching some of the Live Tour. I don't know how I stumbled upon it. I was channel surfing. I think it was on FS2. I didn't even know that was a channel. And I watched a little bit of it. The guys are wearing shorts. There's all these graphics on the side of the screen. There's too many buzzes and bells and whistles and color schemes. I'm trying to watch golf, and they got too much else stuff going on. It's not my cup of tea. I know some of those names. I recognize them on the Live Tour.
Dustin Johnson.
I had no clue.
Yeah, those guys.
Some of them I had no clue who they were.
Yeah.
But a handful I knew who they were. But it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not into it. I want to hear Jim Nantz and those guys doing PGA Tour golf. That's who I want to hear.
I think
Smiley
they figure.
Kaufman. I mean, who doesn't like Smiley Kaufman doing golf on NBC?
What's his
Dottie
name?
Pepper.
SMYLY. Who calls himself Smiley anyway? But I think the PGA Tour. I think they know. Okay, you're offering me $1.5 billion to merge. How about we wait until you guys fall apart, and then we can pick and choose. Okay, Dustin Johnson, you want to come back? We want to see you. Brooks Koepka, some of those guys. Yeah, we'll let you back in. They're looking for bargains, and I'm sure they feel like if they just stay resolute, this whole thing's going to fall apart, and it ain't going to cost them $1.5 billion to merge with anybody.
I think that's kind of what they're angling there on. So I'm with the PGA Tour on this one.
This is what I can't figure out as well with the Masters coming up. They could make, if it was all about just strictly money, you'd be able to buy an egg salad sandwich at the Masters for more than $1.50. You've got the classic chicken sandwich, and John says it's real good.
It's all good, yeah.
For $3. Ham and cheese on rye, $3.
You
can get Chardonnay for $6. Yeah, okay, all right.
The peach ice cream in between the two cookies. Oh, man.
The Georgia pecan caramel popcorn, $1.50.
Beers are cheap.
Yeah, domestics for $5, imports for $5.
Yeah.
Something they've called the crow's nest. I think that's the reserve stuff. That's $5, and you can get. I mean, I guess you can tool around Augusta National with a glass, a cup of white wine, Chardonnay, $6. It ain't all about the money, and if they're patient, they're going to be able to save a little coin.
Sure. Yeah, and Barry, everything that you order, if you get a sandwich, it's wrapped in green wax paper. If you get a beer or Coke, it's in a green cup. There are trash receptacles all over the grounds, and if you happen to miss it, there's somebody there to pick it up because they do not want any trash on the hallowed grounds of Augusta. And if you want to buy an Augusta National golf shirt, T-shirt, cap, or anything else, because I can believe you me, in that pro shop, they got anything you could imagine with the Augusta logo on it. Next week is the only time you can buy it. Can't buy it off the internet. You can't buy it on Amazon. You got to buy it at Augusta National. Now, there may be some people that go buy a bunch of that stuff and try to sell it on the internet, which is frowned upon.
Frowned upon, yes. The many years ago, John was good enough friend, where he brought me back a 2002 Masters cap. He had been there, and he brought it to me, and I wore it for a little while. Well, my son Jack at the time was about 10. Jack is now married, 2 kids, mortgage, full-time job and everything. He requisitioned that cap about 3 years after I got it, which was 20 years ago. He wears the heck out of that Masters cap, even still and everything. So, hey, you talk about a bargain, awesome. Man. He loves it. That's one of his go-to caps. So
that is glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, great merchandise over at Augusta. And I'm telling you,
KC, my buddy Kenneth Carter, he checks in. He says, Crow's Nest is the special craft beer brewed only for the Masters.
I see.
All right. Yeah. Okay. We're Bud Light guys around here, but I had never heard of Crow's Nest.
And Barry, in lines at concession, there are no lines. Nah, the wait, there's no wait. They got it so efficient. They got it so figured out. It's good. There's nothing they haven't figured out over there.
I promise we won't take another 8 minutes for the next topic wheel.
I think I brought that cap back to you. I think it's the same year, which I believe is the last time I've been to Augusta. I was with Gurn Sr. We went. Matter of fact, I did the show in the car heading to Augusta.
Yep. I remember. That's exactly what. That was the year. That was a while back.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Let's spin it again, Gurn. Maybe we get a couple in before we have to take a quick break and get to the Phantom's Daily Dog.
Yep.
Let's see here. What do we got? Uh-oh. I got a feeling I know what this is going to be about.
All right. Yeah. Let's serve it up here.
Ooh. Yeah. Of course, Barry, wasn't this the game the Braves lost yet again with Ohtani with the game winner?
Yeah, we talked probably too much about it. Yeah, first pitch. Well, no, here's a pitch.
Braves, they give long throw to first. He's out. Yeah. Wow.
Well,
get away from him.
The Braves. What this all means is the Braves had an early 5-0 lead.
Yeah.
And got 5-2. Dodgers tied it in the 8th, 2-run double. Max Muncy. This is Shohei Ohtani telling everybody in Japanese exactly what it felt like to hit the walk-off home run on the first pitch he saw in the bottom of the 9th on his bobblehead day. They make it seem like it's Roy Hobbs in the natural or something like that. To get the Dodgers. Right now, again, the Dodgers are spending money like it's going out of style.
Yeah, they are.
They are the World Series champions.
Yep.
And they are the first ever in the 150-year history of Major League Baseball. They are the first World Series champion ever to start the next year at 8-0.
With all the money that Ohtani is making, do you think he could learn a little English?
He does. He does know a little bit of it. He's getting better at it. He's like Ichiro. Ichiro came up there, and he didn't speak a word of English. Now, he speaks it pretty well. He told a great joke to Bob Costas that was a little off color to show his command of the English language. But bear in mind, the Braves start out 0-7, right?
Ooh,
I think we've established that. They started out 0-7 on their road trip. 3 games against the Dodgers, 4 games against the Padres, and they are a combined 15-0.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's not like the Braves are playing the Pirates and the Rockies or something like that. They're playing the 2 best teams in Major League Baseball back-to-back. And yeah, they're 0-7. Yeah, they're the only team that still has yet to win a game, but I'm telling you, that changes tonight.
Well, Robbie, I'm going to hear from you, Robbie. I want to know what you think about these 0 for Braves. Hey, wasn't Fernando Valenzuela? He didn't speak English, did he?
No, he didn't for a long time.
Yeah.
But he got better at it. At the time of his passing, he had been the color analyst for many years for the Dodgers Spanish language broadcast.
Wow.
But yeah, he came up, and I got to think that it's more difficult for a Japanese native speaker to learn English than it is for a Mexican, because at least in speaking Spanish, they use the same alphabet. I mean, for Japanese, with all the characters and stuff, it's bound to be a lot different. So,
all right, what do you say we take one more spin? That will leave us 3 more to spin, maybe after we wrap up with Ralph Michaels a little bit. So we'll have a dual Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel segment today, and this one's going to land on
Luka loses.
Wait a minute, what? Is this last night's game? Yeah. What is this about? Let's show it. Lakers show fight, but Luka's unacceptable struggles prove costly loss to Warriors. What is this about?
Well, we'll probably get to this a little bit more in depth in the next segment.
So has the Luka trade been worth it for the Lakers?
Well, Anthony Davis hasn't done a whole lot.
No. Still hurt, I believe.
He's been Doncic has been good. I mean, he's extremely talented, and he's got an elbow injury. But he'd made at least 1 3-pointer in a game for every game for the last 2 years. But he was 0-6 from 3 last night against the Warriors. He's not very good defensively.
Just think if he'd have made half of those threes. More on that in a minute.
He's not. He did not play well last night. Did not shoot it well, and he's always been kind of a defensive liability. Because face it, he's extremely skilled. He's tall. He's knowledgeable. He can shoot the eyes out of it and everything. But he has the body of one of my second uncles. I mean, a little bit of a boiler, all that kind of. But anyway, he took responsibility for it.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you think the Phantom might have known some of this information or some of this insight of these trends? More on that when we get back.
Well, he also has been known. That's one of the reasons why the Mavericks traded him. He has a little bit of a taste for the hard stuff, He's not exactly hitting the training table right. He doesn't mix in a lot of vegetables and stuff like that. So he's not exactly great with the training, but he took responsibility for it yesterday. You want to find out more about what actually did happen in the Warriors-Lakers game last night? Stay tuned. It's coming up. John Longshore is in the showroom at Stivers Ford Lincoln on the Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway. I am in Norfolk, Virginia, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, we're back at it here on a Friday. It is the 4th day of April, Longshore and McKnight, about 24 minutes past the hour. And well, I guess it might be a good time to see what happened with the Phantom's Daily Dog.
Yep. Yesterday, even if you don't recall, yesterday, the Phantom, in selecting his daily dog, went to what the Phantom likes to call the association.
The association.
Where the Phantom noted that yesterday was a full card in the NBA. I mean, everybody was playing. For some reason, this one tickled the Phantom's fancy. He noted that the Warriors were playing the Lakers in LA, big Western Conference matchup. And he also noted that the Warriors were what? Minus 1.5 in that game?
No, plus 1.5. They were an underdog.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah. Golden State, they were an underdog against the Lakers in L.A. And John the Phantom said, I can't just pass that one by.
No. 9 o'clock TNT last night. A little late, but we did catch some of it. Good game. Barry, of course, this is coming off the victory that the Charlotte Hornets provided for us as a 14.5-point underdog, only losing by 14 to the Indiana Pacers the night before. So little house money, a little winning streak as we headed out to L.A., and the Golden State Warriors catching 1.5. Didn't need it, Barry. The Warriors win the game outright against L.A. Did the Phantom know that Luka was going to go 0 for 6 from the three-point arc? Maybe, maybe not.
Did the Phantom know that Brandon Podziemski was going to go off for the Golden State Warriors? Did the Phantom even know who Brandon Podziemski was for the Golden State Warriors? Maybe not, but maybe so.
That's the research you got to do. It's those unsung heroes. It's not all about Steph. It's some of these other role players, and the Warriors get the victory on the road as an underdog. The Phantom chalks up another winner. So you're wondering, what about today? What about this weekend?
Yeah.
The Phantom, Barry, is going to do something a little extraordinary here today. We normally, it's normally the Phantom's Daily Dog. Well, today, it's the Phantom's Daily Double Dog. Kind of like a double dog dare you.
Yeah.
Double dog daring the Phantom.
Yeah. Where Schwartz commits a slight breach of etiquette. Actually, with Schwartz, it was the triple dog dare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was the triple dog dare where he went straight over the double dare and went right for the throat in Christmas Story. Yes.
He did. Well,
we're double dog.
We're going with the Phantom's double dog. Not a double-digit dog.
No.
But a double dog. So here's the deal with the Phantom's double dog. Tomorrow, you're going to have to take a break tonight.
All right.
Because tomorrow, the Phantom is releasing his first ever Phantom Daily Double Dog. Barry, in the first game of the Final Four of the NCAA tournament.
All right.
We are taking the Auburn Tigers plus the 2.5 against the Florida Gators. Just don't see Florida winning this game, actually. Nothing against my daughter who has them in her bracket, but I just don't see Florida beating Auburn once again. They beat them at Neville about a month and a half ago. They're not going to beat them in San Antonio, and the 2.5 is just a bonus.
Once again, nothing against his daughter, who assured everybody on this program that when she watches that game, she said it live on the air, she ain't watching it with a bunch of aubs.
No, she's not. Never has. As long as
never
I've known
will,
it.
I don't believe.
Never will. I don't think so either. Yeah. But then you're thinking, well, Phantom, what's the deal with the Daily Double Dog? Because
Phantom,
after
what's
that
the deal with the Daily Double? Yeah, okay.
We're going to take another dog in San Antonio with the Houston Cougars in-state team, kind of a home game, if you will, catching 5.5 against the Duke Blue Devils. Now, Houston might not win this game, but doesn't matter. We just needed to keep it within the 5.5. We feel they will So we have a phantom double dog play on Saturday. It is the Auburn Tigers plus 2.5 and the Houston Cougars plus 5.5. The Phantoms daily double dog on Saturday. There are your two winners.
Now, don't start expecting this, okay? Now that the Phantom has unveiled a new approach to his Phantom's daily dog, don't be expecting one every day, okay? These are every once in a while, like, Haley's Comet or something like that. So, yeah, get used to winning, but not to winning twice in one day
Barry,
on the coattails of the Phantom.
We're on a good little streak here, Chris.
Yeah.
You could point that out on the chat line if you'd like. And we feel even better about Saturday. I mean, these are the situations where local man doesn't take your phone call anymore. He sees your name on that caller ID, he just lets it ring.
Now, of course, we also have this. Everybody's saying, hey, great, Phantom is picking two winners every. No. This is a special occasion.
No.
We also, I knew we'd get this. Casino Greg. Longshore's an Aubie now. He'll now predict Auburn to win the Natty on Monday. Well, no, he might, but he might not. Don't automatically start assuming then we'll playing what you think will be the Phantom's potential pick. Look, people kind of go crazy.
We're not looking ahead. We're not going to predict or we're not going to handicap the championship game till Sunday. We don't know who's in it. I got a kind of good feeling. We got a good feeling, but we're not going to handicap the championship game till Sunday. So, as Ernest and Julio Gallo said, give this wine its time. We will pick no wine before it's time.
It might have been Paul Masson, but who knows?
It might have been.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Offshore. Wait a minute. That's a new one. Offshore. That's what they call me.
Take that up with the Phantom. Take that up.
That's what they called me when I walked into Jordan-Hare Stadium a couple of years ago. People went, "What's he doing here?"
Yeah.
Some guy said, "Offshore." Look, let me tell you something. There's no fandom in these picks. Let's make this perfectly clear. There is not a bit of fandom. This is all about financial, not fandom.
Well, you talk about clinical analysis. We'll take a big break right here and come back and talk with our buddy Ralph Michaels from the Goldsheet and Wagertalk. Very likely about the Final Four. When we come back, in association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
This is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. I'm here live at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Ralph Michaels going to join us here in just a moment. Wagertalk and the Goldsheet. Barry here at Stivers in Montgomery. Every remaining 2024 F-150 at 2.9% APR for 72 months. The F-150 Lightning up to 15 grand off plus 0% APR as well. Great deals on the Edge and the Escape. Of course, the Ford Bronco, so popular. So many different styles and trim levels to choose from, starting as low as $25,990, and a brand new lineup to the Ford truck series, the Ford Mavericks. They've debuted, man. There's so many here on the lot. They are outstanding, really cool, starting as low as $23,990 and no payments for 90 days. Just a few of the great examples of what's here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars.
Our buddy Ralph Michaels joins us here from Wagertalk and the Goldsheet on the cusp of the Final Four. Welcome back in. Always good to see you, Ralph.
Hey, guys, screw the Final Four. I want to bring up a point to both of you guys. I always enjoy logging in early, listening to you. I'm always so entertained. So, Barry, I'm going to go to you first, and I'm going to make two comments about Luka. Number one, are you saying that Luka should be more like a golfer named John Day, having a beer, a cigar, and a bratwurst, and he's got the exercise regimen of John Day?
That was the rep about Luka, as he's not exactly committed to physical fitness. No, yeah,
but
that's exactly what I'm saying.
You look at the box score. Yes, he went 0 of 6 last night, but he still had 34 PRA, and he was only -3 on the plus minus. They lost it because Finney Smith and Vincent were both -14. So I do have to stand up for him a little bit. He did a lot of other things. We circle in on those threes, but when you're only -3 on a horrible shooting night, that shows you still can be part of a team and be successful. So a little stand up for Luka. And John, I have to reach out to you.
Okay.
I am laughing because when you talk about call your man, I'm thinking about a rotary dial. And do you remember when we got call waiting? It was like color TV or cable TV. Holy shit.
Like
call waiting.
manna from heaven.
Down the street to go see if my friend wants to play wiffle ball.
How about the redial button? You could hit the redial button. It would redial it real quick. You wouldn't have to dial the rotary. Because when you dial the rotary and local man's phone was busy, then you really got pissed. You're going, oh my God. The game
and you hated a number with a lot of zeros because you had to.
And then did it all the way back before you could.
Yeah, see,
do
the younger viewers, they don't get that, Ralph. That was when
these kids are going, what the hell's a rotary phone, right?
Oh, I love it, man. When I got redial, I could just hit the redial button. That was great. But I used to beat up on my local man sometimes, Ralph, and he wouldn't answer my call. And I go, hey, man, what's the deal? I mean, he wouldn't take my action. Had to find somebody else. All right, so we got some big basketball. We're talking a little NBA. We're getting ready for the NBA playoffs to start, but obviously the Final Four is the big thing. And as you can imagine, Ralph, in our neck of the woods, folks are excited about the Auburn Tigers, the overall #1 seed. They're in the Final Four. But not only are they an underdog to Florida tomorrow night, they've got the longest odds to win the championship of any of the 4 teams. Your thoughts?
Well, I will say this. I mean, you want to talk plain value, and there's a lot of people in Vegas that just bet plain value. Yes, Florida won at Auburn, but Auburn was an 11-point favorite. So what's happened since that time? Each team's lost, 2 games? So you're talking about a 17-point swing from a neutral setting to a home setting when both teams are basically 18-2 in the same situation. Yes, Florida has become more elite, but again, that is just flat out value. Now, that did not get me to the window, but that certainly kept me off the one side. So, we talk about it all the time. I'd rather leave a winner off than put a loser on. Because if you have 2 plays to go 50-50, you are just paying juice, and you are going to go broke paying that 10% juice. So I always lean to the conservative side. So while it may not get me on a team, if it takes me off a team, I don't worry if it wins. You can't worry about that because more times than not, it's going to benefit from you. But, I'm a big fan of current matrix. And again, I'll give Bart Torvik a shout because you can adjust the dates. when you look at the team since basically March 1st, so each team has probably played about 7, 8, or 9 games in that stretch, depending on how far they got into the conference tournaments. Houston comes across as the number 1 team, Duke number 3. That adds credibility to your pick. Florida is the number 2 team, Auburn's 9. But look at the offense and defensive ratings. And I think this is another reason Duke is a little overvalued. Houston is 19 on offense, 2 on defense. Elite. Duke elite as well. 2 on offense, 23 on defense. Slight edge to Houston when you cross over the metrics. Florida, 1 on offense. They become elite. 35 on defense. Auburn, 25 and 22 offense and defense. So Auburn is the only team that does not have a top 3, let alone a top 20 offense or defense metrics in that point. So as far I understand, that is why I understand where the line is when you look at current metrics on offense and defense performances. So I think the line is correct, but the value there is going to get me not past that. I will say this. I think Florida started the season 5-9 over under. They have gone over 11 straight games. This offense is elite. I do like the Florida team total over the total. Auburn 7-3 over under versus an up-tempo team. And after Florida has gone over 3 straight games, they're a perfect 8-0. And while 11 straight overs is impressive, remember, ATS records can be manipulated. If you have a team that covers a lot of games by 1 or 2 points, it's basically a toss-up. They can make or miss a shot. But Florida's 11 straight overs have gone over the total by an average of 9.3 points per game, making it that much stronger.
Man, interesting. See, that's something I just didn't even think about is totals and things of that nature, particularly with Florida and their totals going over, as you mentioned there, Ralph. And we talked to a former player yesterday that played in a Final Four, and just the environment of playing in a big arena, all of the media commitments, everything that goes into being a Final Four team, and just your nerves, and also the officiating. When you look at a Final Four setup in scenario, do you factor those things in from a handicapping standpoint?
Not with these 3. You know, you're talking Auburn and Florida aren't quite blue bloods. Houston, I would say, if you looked at the last half a decade, you would consider Houston a blue blood, and playing in state for them. So with these teams being who they are, being the pedigree they have, being, while Florida's close with a couple national championships, but it's the SEC has prepared them for this. If ever a regular season prepared a team to get to the Natty, it is the SEC season this year, which might be the best college basketball conference in the history of the game from top to bottom from this league this year.
Well, you've been strong in the NCAA tournament to this point. Anything out there in your NCAA tournament work to this point you're especially proud of, or you're especially were profitable in, Ralph?
Well, yeah, I've had 8 straight college basketball winners, so it's been a great run. I'll tell you what, let's end this season here, and I'll look forward to coming back next August. But I do have a 5% at Wagertalk. Now, that's the top play. My 5% have been spectacular. They cost $35, but I'm just going to give it to you here. But just because it's a 5% and a top play, it doesn't mean it's a lock. It doesn't mean it's a sure thing. It just means I have as much confidence in this play as any I release, and I am just betting it slightly proportional more. So, John, you and I, we've disagreed a lot. We've agreed a lot, but I am going to go with your suggestion, but I am going to change it slightly. And the reason is Houston over the last 2 years has been the most elite first half team in college basketball. And I am going Houston +3 for the first half. Now, that is a 5% release. And here's the reasons why. These teams are number 1 and 2 in first half point differential. Duke is slightly better than Houston, 0.2 points per game. But they are dominant. They're 1.3 points clear of the number 3 team. They're 3 points clear of the number 4 team. So we are talking clearly first half points scored minus first half points allowed is the diff. But when you look at the schedule, I've talked about this before. I said if you took Duke out, I would have made the Mountain West Conference better than the ACC in college basketball this year. Well, Duke's only played the 54th toughest schedule. That is unheard of for an ACC team with all those bottom feeders in the Athletic Coastal Conference. Houston's played the number 22 schedule. When Houston's been a small dog or a favorite, they're a perfect 4-0 against the spread, covering by 13.2 points per game. Now, when Houston has faced 8 top 9 offenses. So they have faced a good group of elite offenses. Duke is clearly the number 1 offense of the year. They went 5-3 straight up. But in 2 of those non-conference losses, guess what? They led Auburn at halftime. They led Alabama at halftime. Again, strong first half performances. They ended up losing both in the full game.
That's
and
right.
Now let's look at Duke. Duke has only faced 3 top 24 defenses, and they have not faced a top 24 defense since February 8th. They have not faced a top 15 defense in college basketball since December 4th. So there is not an ACC defense that is rated in the top 15. In the tournament, they have not played a top 15 defense, and now they are not only playing the number 1 defense, it's the number 1 metric defense over the last 3 seasons. Duke, with a low total under 138, only 1-5 against the spread since late December, and that was as a double-digit favorite against Virginia. In fact, a 13.5-point favorite. Add it up, we'll end this season 5% Houston, first half, plus the 3.
I love it. And I cannot wait as I'm watching this game play out, Ralph, all of those scenarios that you painted there for us. That's going to make the viewing even more exciting. And I like that. I'm with you. I like that play from Ralph Michaels at Wagertalk and the Goldsheet. Before we do let you go, let our listeners and viewers know how they can get more involved with what you do there at Wagertalk and the Goldsheet, Ralph.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, one of the most popular things I do on Twitter every day of the baseball season starting next year is the Nerfy. Yes, run first inning, no run first inning. I do the chart for the entire year. I break down home and road. I put the odds in. I put that chart every day on Twitter at CalSportsLV. I give a free play. And last year, my free plays went 61.2%. I put it on my Twitter, following every day at CalSportsLV, and follow me at Wagertalk, my shortcut to my homepage, wt.buzz/RM.
Always been a pleasure.
Oh,
we certainly do appreciate you very much. Thanks a bunch, Ralph Michaels. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, have a great summer. We'll talk to you at the start of college football season in late August. Man, Ralph, what a great addition to the program. We really appreciate it. Some great, that was some interesting information, Barry. That stuff even maybe the Phantom was unaware of. That's great stuff.
I know he was taking notes for sure. More to come in just a moment. John is at Stivers Ford Lincoln, Eastern Boulevard of the Troy Highway in Montgomery. I am in Norfolk, Virginia for Troy baseball, which starts tonight at 5 o'clock Central against Old Dominion. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar. Full Budweiser flavor. A refreshing alcohol-free brew that tastes like the real thing. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, about 11 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm live here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Ford Mustang in your future. Mustang starting as low as $29,990 here at Stivers in Montgomery. Ford Expeditions, load up the whole crew, the kids, the family, some friends. Head to the game, the beach, the lake, wherever you may be heading. Up to 15 grand off Ford Expeditions and the Ford Explorer. It started the SUV craze in America, starting as low as $39,990 with the all-wheel drive and leather. You can't beat these deals. Just a few of the many great deals. And I'm telling you, Barry, the number of vehicles on the lot, on the ground, as they say in the automobile business, it's unbelievable. There's not a dealership within, 250 miles with as many vehicles on the lot as they have here at Stivers. I'm not sure there's even one that close.
It is amazing. It is opportunity knocking, and it is waiting for you as well. It's Stivers Ford Lincoln, Eastern Boulevard at the Troy Highway. John is right in the middle of it right now, and it's a great weekend to go out and make your deal starting today. They'd love to visit with you and get you in the vehicle of your dreams at Stivers.
I hope Chris is not drinking Bailey's and coffee at 8:46 in the morning. That's more of an evening drink, Chris, because
he was
obviously Bailey's has some alcohol in it.
He was hypothesizing that maybe that's what Ralph was drinking. I'm sure Ralph was straight coffee.
Oh, you better believe it. No kidding. I do like a little Bailey's every now and then. I hadn't thought about that in a while, Chris. That's a good call.
Chris is like another one of our old program directors who used to like to day drink and tell us what to do. Chris is going program director. He says, take a break, then spin. Okay, Chris, we'll do it. Thank you. Dictating the terms here.
Wait, I'm trying to think of who that PD was that liked to day drink. Because narrow it down?
John drove him to it, I think, a few times.
Can you narrow that down a little bit more?
Yeah. Not the engineer, but the program director.
Okay.
Yes.
Gurn's got 3 more topics on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. And boy, we're going to get to them. Let's see what is up here on Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 topic wheel for this Friday, the 4th of April. And it's going to be
Turning Point or
Con Man.
Con Man.
What could this be about?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Dwight Howard, Gurn Jr.'s a big NBA guy.
Yeah, oh, heck, who is? Love it.
Dwight Howard, former NBA star. Not only Dwight Howard, but former Florida Gator Chandler Parsons.
Uh-oh.
They got swindled by this guy, Georgia businessman, who not allegedly anymore, is convicted of scamming Dwight Howard and Chandler Parsons out of about $8 million. His name is Calvin Darden Jr. He was convicted in October of scamming Dwight Howard out of $7 million in a fake scheme to purchase the WNBA's Atlanta Dream. He was found guilty of cheating Chandler Parsons out of $1 million regarding the development of James Wiseman, who was a 7-footer from Memphis, top NBA prospect. Calvin Darden Jr. was required to surrender the $8 million he got from Howard and Parsons, along with several other luxury items he had received through different schemes, including a $3.7 million mansion in Atlanta, $600,000 in artwork, a Lamborghini, and a Rolls Royce.
Hey, don't these guys have bankers, accountants, and lawyers to tell them not to do stuff like that?
You would think. I'll never forget one time the late, great Robert Fraley, who was, of course, was involved in that tragedy with Payne Stewart many years ago. He was an agent, and he spoke to the Auburn Opelika Quarterback Club one time, and I was covering the event. He said the biggest thing that an agent does in terms of finances is not to present financial opportunities to their clients, but to keep them from doing stupid financial things. That's number one. Don't do anything dumb. All right, we got that established. Now here's how you can invest such in this and that. I can imagine it's a thing. This obviously was something, and I know Chandler Parsons has financial advisors. I know Dwight Howard has financial advisors, but I doubt they went to those guys. I mean, this guy probably said, "Can you help me out here?" Oh, sure, I will. I don't even have to run it by my financial guys. People, if you've got financial guys, run it through your financial guys.
Sure. Very good advice. No, okay, now I get why the Baileys is flowing this morning. Chris and Theodos are watching the stock market again today. I would advise not doing that. You might have just get your eyes off the market for about another month. Don't worry about it. It'll bounce back up, but it's gonna be a little rough sailing here for a few weeks. At least that's what my broker tells me. So hey, what the heck? Let's spin that wheel, Gurn, and see what happens. 2 more topics to go. What could these be about? There've been some good ones today. There always are.
Nice
here
work,
with Longshore.
Nice job.
And is this more NBA? I believe it could be.
Giannis.
Yes. For the Grizzlies.
These guys are not only playing for a win tonight for Philadelphia, they're auditioning for careers in the league. And that
Giannis
heck of an incentive.
Is with the Bucks. First player in NBA history to record 35 points, 20 assists, and 17 rebounds. 20 assists?
Wait a
to
minute.
imagine.
Harry, I didn't have 20 assists in my entire career.
No.
Much less one night.
I'm not sure he had 1 assist in his entire career, but the point is still well made.
The guy can play. How about that? Can we agree on that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's the best Greek player since that ringer they brought in for the Pi Caps in John's intramural league that 1 year in Tuscaloosa. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, well, we had to find him over there at the Ferguson Center. He was hard to find, but we got him.
Let's make it official here.
Let's
One more.
do it. Let's spin it to make it official here on this Friday live from Stivers Ford in Montgomery.
Turning point.
And it's turning point. You know, I've had a few turning points in my career. What could this be about?
Why? Oh, yeah, I saw this. This is AuburnUndercover.com, Nathan King.
Yeah.
Why?
Good pull, Gurn.
Yeah, good one. Why? And this was a great article. Check it out. We always want to, when we use something from somebody else, we always like to point you to this. Nathan King, who's a terrific writer. Why the dramatic flight to Houston was a turning point for Auburn's season. That was the flight early on where they had the fight. Senior forward Jaheim Hudson, freshman wing Ja'Kai Howard had an altercation aboard Auburn's charter out to Houston that momentous Friday afternoon. The pilot turned the plane around. This was like the pilot saying, I'll turn this thing around. And he did. They deboarded the plane. 2 players were involved in a physical altercation. They dropped them off, then went back to Texas and beat the number 4 team in the country. Miles Kelly said that was most definitely a turning point in the season.
You know, if that happened on a non-chartered plane, there would be law enforcement agency officials waiting for them on the tarmac. Was that the case here? But since it was a charter, they let Auburn deal with it on their own.
I don't know. I honestly don't know how that works, but there's 2 things to remember about it. Number 1, it was a long time ago, and number 2, it's like Fight Club, John. They don't talk about it. Somebody asked Dylan Cardwell about it, and he laughed and he said, "Next question." They anything that you hear about what happened on that plane flight is pure hearsay, because ever since that plane deboarded back at the Robert O. Pitts Airport, nobody on that plane has said a word about it.
Now, Barry, I think we know that anything that happens off the field or off the court involving Auburn has never been a long time ago. That doesn't go into that.
Well,
there's no timeline.
And they've always said this. I have always admired Alabama for this, and honestly thought Auburn should copy it. They have gone the Alabama route, because when something happens in Tuscaloosa, I mean, you can forget about it. You talk tight as a drum.
24
Auburn,
hours.
meanwhile, they'll talk about it and second guess themselves and wonder how to. This is a promising sign. I think some people at Auburn, some fans, some administrators, some donors, some boosters ought to take a lesson out of this, because I'm telling you, ain't nobody said. I don't know if they've been threatened by the coach. If anybody says a word, you're off the team. I don't know. But they've been really good about it. Yes.
They have been keeping it tight. You are exactly right about that. So, and I do, Barry, I know you're a subscriber to the Montgomery Regional Airport's Facebook account, Twitter, X. They took a picture of the Auburn charter as it was departing MGM earlier this week.
Yeah.
Much bigger plane, more comfortable, more spacious. So if that inadvertent elbow or cheap shot, you don't have to worry about that. On smaller planes, those big guys, not as much room, plenty of room for them to stretch and relax and not get into any altercation.
And I've been on a ton of basketball flights. One of the big issues is all those guys are 6'9", 6'7", 6'11", and stuff like that. They always either want the exit rows or they want, the aisle so they can stretch out. Inadvertent tripping, might have been the case. Hey, man, move your foot. Well, you can, it may have been something like that. That does happen.
I love it. All right, Barry. So I know you got a lot going on up there with Troy. Baseball, Monday, traveling with the Trojans. So we'll have some special features for you in Barry's absence, but it'll be back on Tuesday. And of course, I'm here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. April savings, spring into them here at Stivers, where Price sells cars. You'll love all the inventory to choose from, because I say it all the time. They've got your vehicle right now. None of this will get it to you by Tuesday. They've got it here today with this incredibly large inventory at the absolute lowest prices. Great sales associates to help you out. Price sells cars and trucks at Stivers Ford in Montgomery.
Yep, he is there in the showroom. He's John Longshore, our producer, Gurn Jr. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.